Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today is Saturday, June 15th, 2025.
And we're here, ready to get started. We're your teachers from Academia BSB.
But with a bit of a late-night show feel, I'm here to guide you along.
And I'm here to, well, analyze. Maybe a little grumpy, but trying to be helpful.
Tonight, we're taking a close look at the class notes for Group T247. This is from their class back on June 11th.
Right. Group T247, that's Mario, Douglas, and Tiago. They're working at the CEFRL A2 level.
CEFRL, oh yes, that's the common European framework of reference for languages. Helps us track progress, you know.
Yeah.
A2 means they can handle simple, everyday English.
And they are definitely aiming for B1. Moving up, showing growth.
And what's really cool about this group, and, you know, Academia BSB's approach, is how they've shifted gears.
Yes. They started with screenwriting, acting practice.
Which was super fun and creative, but
Yeah.
now they're digging into practical grammar, real vocabulary, stuff for daily life.
It shows how you take what you learn in class and actually use it. That's the goal.
Exactly. And the theme for this class material, giving and taking advice, all inspired by a video they watched.
So we're going to review these notes, like movie critics reviewing a performance. Let's see how they did.
Just a quick reminder, Academia BSB is an online English school, especially for Brazilians. Our main aim, helping you use English out there in the real world.
Not just memorize lists, practical application.
So tonight, think formal, but definitely fun. Like those late night shows, we'll investigate the notes, be straightforward.
Simple, clear, short sentences. We'll speak slowly, we'll pause, so you at the A2 level can follow along easily.
Okay then, let's open up these notes. First up, let's talk about some key phrases like famous lines from a movie script.
The idiomatic expressions. These are phrases where the meaning isn't just word by word. They pack a lot of meaning, often advice, into just a few words.
Right. First one is none of your business.
Simple enough. It means stay out of it. Don't ask about things that don't concern you. Private matters.
The notes give us an example with Emma and Tom. Emma asks why Tom's late, and he says,
"It's none of your business, Emma." Tells her it's private. She shouldn't pry.
Very direct, like não é da sua conta in Portuguese, right? It really sets a boundary.
Exactly. Okay, next idiom. Take it with a grain of salt.
This one means don't completely believe something you hear, right?
Yeah.
Be a bit skeptical.
Precisely. Don't take it too seriously. The example is about Julia hearing gossip. Her friend advises her.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, gossip often isn't totally true.
The information might be unreliable, so be careful. It's like leve isso com pé atrás in Portuguese.
Got it. Okay, next. Better safe than sorry.
This one's about caution. It's wiser to be careful now to prevent problems later.
Like Mark, packing extra water for a hike, he said, better safe than sorry, just in case.
He's planning ahead. Being cautious. It's simple wisdom. Prepare for potential issues.
Like melhor prevenir do que remediar. Good advice for life.
Indeed. Next, look before you leap.
Ooh, another important one. Means think carefully before you do something big or risky.
Yes. Don't just jump in. The example is Sarah wanting to quit her job suddenly. Her brother warns her.
Look before you leap. Think about the consequences first. Maybe find another job before quitting.
Right. Consider the results of your actions. In Portuguese, maybe, pensem antes de agir, or cautelas não se precipite. Caution first.
And the last one for this section, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
This means don't rely on just one single thing for success or security. Diversify.
Like Peter putting all his investment money into just one company. Risky.
Very. His friend says don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread the risk. Invest in different things.
So if one fails, you don't lose everything. Makes sense. It's like, não ponha todos os ovos no mesmo cesto.
These idioms, they offer these little packets of cultural wisdom, often about advice. Very concise.
Okay, so from wise phrases, let's move to the building blocks, the new vocabulary from this class. Think of these as new props or costume pieces for your English performance.
Words to help you discuss situations. Situations where advice is relevant.
Let's go through the list from the notes. First word, to fire.
Means to dismiss someone from a job. A synonym is to dismiss.
Then we have to hire.
The opposite, to employ someone, give them a job. Synonyms like to employ, to recruit.
To expect.
To think something will probably happen, to anticipate it. Synonyms. To anticipate, maybe to hope for.
Advice.
Suggestions about what someone should do. Guidance, Remember, advice is usually uncountable in English. You'd say a piece of advice, not an advice.
Good tip. And then suggestion.
Very similar. An idea or plan someone proposes. Synonyms. Advice, recommendation.
To scramble.
This can mean mixing things up quickly, like scrambling eggs, or it can mean moving quickly, maybe awkwardly. Synonyms: to mix, to rush, to clamber.
Soul. S-O-L-E.
Means only one. Single, like he was the sole survivor. Synonym: only, single.
To board.
Getting onto a vehicle, usually a large one, like a plane, train, or ship. You board the flight. Synonym: to embark. Means before, like previous or earlier. Prior to the meeting, we reviewed the notes.
To gasp.
That sudden intake of breath, usually surprise or shock, maybe pain. Synonyms: to pant, though to choke implies difficulty breathing.
To scratch.
Can mean marking a surface with something sharp, like fingernails, or it can mean canceling something. Scratch that idea. Synonyms: to scrape, to cancel.
To blink.
Closing and opening your eyes quickly, like to flutter. Different from a wink, which is usually one eye.
To sigh.
That long, deep breath often shows emotion, tiredness, sadness, relief. Synonyms: maybe to moan, but lament is much stronger, more about grief.
To nod.
Moving your head down and up usually means yes, agreement, or understanding. Synonyms: to assent, to approve.
Nephew.
The son of your brother or your sister, a specific family term, no simple synonym really.
And niece.
The daughter of your brother or sister, same idea, specific family word.
Bus stop.
Simple: the designated place where a bus stops for passengers. To disappear suddenly and completely. Synonym: disappear.
And last one.
To waste.
Using something carelessly without getting the proper benefit. Like wasting time or money. Synonyms: to misuse, to squander.
Yeah.
So these are all useful words, tools for describing situations, especially ones involving problems or, well, advice.
Okay, let's switch things up. Let's look back at how you practice vocabulary from past classes, like reviewing an early rehearsal tape.
Right. The notes have exercises applying older vocabulary. This helps make sure the words stick. You move from just knowing them to actually using them.
First exercise.
Yeah.
Complete the sentences, using words like crew, seasoned, batch, soul, glitching. Sentence 1. The film production worked all day.
The word is crew, a group working together, film crew, ship's crew.
Sentence 2. My laptop keeps whenever I open multiple tabs.
Glitching, those little technical problems or errors.
Sentence 3. She is a very manager who has worked in 5 companies.
Seasoned means experienced, like a seasoned traveler, or here, a seasoned manager. Sentence 4. The bakery produced a fresh of pastries every morning.
Batch. A group of things made together at one time. A batch of cookies.
And 5. He owns the rights to the invention.
Sole, meaning only. He's the single owner of the rights.
Good. Shows you're putting those words in the right context. Next was matching words to meanings. Words like seeker, to hire, to lack, willing, ownership.
Okay. 1. A person looking for something. That's seeker.
2. To want to employ someone.
That matches with to hire. We saw that one earlier.
3. Not having something necessary.
To lack. To lack confidence, for example.
4. Ready to do something without being forced.
Willing. Are you willing to help?
And 5. The act of owning something.
Ownership. Having legal possession.
Making those connections between word and meaning is key. Then, rewriting sentences with new words, but keeping the meaning. Using words like wealthy, rocky, overcame, appeal, audience, prior.
Okay, first one. She is very rich, using wealthy.
Becomes she's very wealthy. Same meaning.
Sentence 2. The mountain road was difficult to pass, using rocky.
The mountain road was very rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky means difficult, maybe because of rocks, or just generally hard.
3. He found a way to win the competition, using overcame.
He overcame the difficulty and won the competition. To overcome is to succeed despite a problem.
4. The new product was interesting to the younger, using appeal and audience.
The new product had a lot of appeal for the younger audience. Appeal means attraction, interest. Audience is the group it's aimed at.
And 5. Before starting the project, we had a meeting, using prior.
Prior to starting the project, we had a meeting. Prior just means before.
This shows understanding, swapping words, keeping the core meaning intact. Good practice. Last exercise here. Select the correct word.
1. The company decided to get new workers. Options. Hire, handle, seek.
Correct. Is hire. They need to employ new people.
2. He could not employ the stress. Options.
Handle, lack, glitch.
Handle, meaning manage or cope with the stress.
And 3. She was known as a very chef. Options. Batch, seasoned soul.
Seasoned, experienced,
Right.
a very skilled chef. Great work on those exercises. They really reinforce the vocabulary in different ways. Helps become part of your active language.
Now, from the words themselves to how they sound, pronunciation, perfecting your delivery.
Yes, those small sound differences can completely change a word's meaning in English. Let's look at some sounds from past classes first.
The notes show pairs, like gym versus gin. Listen, gym, gin.
Okay, the vowel sound is short in both, like in sit, but the first sound, that G sound.
Before Y or I, it's often the soft G. Sounds like G, gym, gin, like gin.
Yes, Feldermail.
Listen, fail, jail, mail.
Hear that vowel, it's the long A sound. E, like in say or day, fail, jail, mail, all rhyme.
Practicing these helps your ear tune in to those subtle but important sound differences.
Okay, we've looked at idioms, vocabulary, past exercises, and some old sounds.
When we come back after a short break, we'll tackle the pronunciation of the new words and then dive into the main performance, the reading text.
Stay with us for more of the deep dive. And we're back on the deep dive. We're going through the class notes for T247.
We've covered idioms for advice, new and old vocabulary, and started on pronunciation.
Speaking of advice, I heard a little joke. Why did the student eat his homework?
I don't know. Why?
Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake.
Ah, right. Some advice is definitely simpler than others. Let's get back to pronunciation. The sounds of the new words from this week. Your voice rehearsal for the new script.
Okay, listen carefully. I'll say the word, use it in a simple sentence, then say the word again. Ready?
Let's hear them.
Ladder. He chose the latter option. Ladder.
Later. See you later.
Leather.
Okay.
Leather. This jacket is leather. Leather.
Where? Where are you going? Where?
Were. They were happy. Were.
Should. You should study. Should.
Could.
Yeah,
He
what?
could go. Could.
Something. I need something. Something.
Nephew. My nephew is here. Nephew.
The airplane crew. Crew.
Speciality.
Good.
Cooking is my speciality.
Speciality.
And
Handle. Handle with care. Handle.
trouble. Don't cause trouble. Trouble.
Either is correct. Neither.
Pastries. I like pastries. Pastries.
Supportive. Be supportive. Is supportive.
Growth. Language growth takes time. Growth.
Suitcase. Pack your suitcase. Suitcase.
Good practice. Hearing them clearly, using them simply, especially tricky ones like ladder, later, leather, or where and were.
Paying attention to these sounds makes your spoken English much easier to understand. Okay, time for the reading text. The scene study.
Yes, the title is Lever or Later, Advice at the Airport Gate. I'll read it through first.
Please do.
Reads clearly. Duglio and Maris were friends who met at the airport while waiting for their flight. They were not part of the same crew, but they liked to talk about their jobs. Duglio gave advice about how Morris should handle trouble with passengers who lost their suitcase. Morris said, "You could try being more supportive when people ask for something small, like directions or help with their bags. It helps their growth as travelers." They laughed because neither of them liked handling angry tourists who shouted about missing pastries or souvenirs made of fake leather. Later, Morris asked Duglio if he should buy a leather wallet or wait until later to choose. "You could wait if you're not sure where the best shop is," said Duglio. "But if you want a wallet that is my speciality, strong and simple, you should buy the latter from the shop near Gate 12. Morris smiled and said he would think about it after they finished their coffee. Duglio also gave advice about family. "My nephew works here in the airport crew. You should meet him. He is smart and can handle any trouble that comes." The day ended with a lot of laughs, advice, and new supportive friendship. Perfect for two men who were ready for new adventures and growth.
An interesting little slice of life there. Two colleagues connecting. Let's break it down. First paragraph. They meet, talk jobs. Duglio gives advice on handling passenger trouble.
What I like here is the connection they make. They're not on the same team, but they find this common ground, sharing work problems. And Mers gives advice back about being supportive. It feels friendly, you know?
The connection is there, but the advice, Mara says, be more supportive. Is that practical advice for handling someone who lost their luggage? It sounds a bit, well, vague. More like venting about difficult passengers than offering a concrete strategy.
Maybe. But isn't sharing the stress, getting that support from a friend, also a way of handling trouble? Maybe the connection is part of the solution.
Perhaps. Let's look at paragraph 2. Maris asks about a wallet, leather, or later. Duglio gives specific shop advice, then mentions his nephew.
Okay, this advice is clear. Go to the shop near Gate 12. Buy the latter, the strong, simple one. That's practical, actionable advice, a real recommendation.
The wallet part, yes. Specific, good use of the vocabulary. But then, my nephew can handle any trouble. What trouble? How? Why should Maris meet him? That's not advice. That's just name-dropping a relative. It's unclear.
That's a fair point. It brings in a good question. What makes advice good? Is it always specific steps? Or can connecting someone to a person even vaguely be helpful too? Duglio offers a mix.
Let's see the final paragraph. It wraps up with laughs, advice, friendship, adventures, growth.
Sounds lovely. A positive end to their chat.
A bit optimistic, perhaps. Adventures and growth from one airport coffee conversation. Did they solve the passenger problems? Did Maris get the wallet? The focus seems to be on the feeling of connection, not the outcome of the advice.
But isn't that connection itself growth? Finding a supportive friendship at work, sharing advice, even imperfect advice, is an adventure in human interaction. It builds rapport.
So the text model is a type of conversation, friendly sharing, some vague advice, some specific advice, rather than a masterclass in giving perfect instructions. It shows how real conversations can be messy.
Exactly. Real advice isn't always a neat checklist. It's often mixed with complaining, with relationship building, and maybe that connection is just as valuable.
An interesting perspective on the text. Now let's shift to the writing room, the writing exercise.
Yes, this is where you get to create your own scene, your own dialogue, using the language you've learned. It's like scripting your own lines for practice.
The scenario involves Mario's bakery problem. His nephew, Leonard, took money for a logo, but bought a gaming PC instead. Mario is talking to Douglas and Tiago, the consultant.
Okay, let's imagine the scene. Mario is clearly stressed, talking to his friends. How might the dialogue go?
Yeah.
Using should, or maybe an idiom.
All right. Mario starts.
Mario, guys, I'm in real trouble in my bakery. Leonard. He took the logo money.
Douglas, what? The money's gone. What did he do?
Mario, he bought a gaming PC. It just vanished. I expected him to help the business.
Douglas, oh, Mario, that's terrible. You should talk to him right away. You should give it back.
Tiago. Mario, from a business perspective, maybe you shouldn't rely solely on family for key things. It's like you put all your eggs in one basket with him. You should have had a contract, perhaps.
Mario, a contract? He's my nephew.
Douglas. Yeah, but Tiago's right, too. Still, Leonard needs to fix this trouble he caused.
See, a simple exchange. But it uses trouble, vanished, expected, should, even the idiom, all your eggs in one basket.
It puts the language into action. Connecting the vocabulary and structures in a conversational way, that's the value of this practice.
Moving on, let's consider the listening part, hearing the story.
The notes mention an Audible class podcast from June 9th. So you listen to a recording related to the class themes.
Listening practice is critical. It helps you understand English spoken naturally, different accents, different speeds, the flow of conversation.
Absolutely. People don't always speak like textbook recordings. Listening helps you catch words, understand context, grasp the nuances, especially important for understanding advice given in real time.
Now, the visuals, the watching section.
This mentions watching movies, news, series, real events from English-speaking countries. Why is this important?
Because you see the language in context. You see the situations, the facial expressions, the body language. So much communication is nonverbal, especially around giving or receiving advice.
It helps you absorb the culture, too. How people interact naturally, how they express opinions or give suggestions in different situations.
The activity likely involved watching something and listening for specific language points from the class advice structures, new vocabulary. It connects classroom learning to the wider world.
And finally, the speaking section, performing the language.
This is where it all comes together. Vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, flow. It's about actually using the language.
And practicing isn't just about saying words correctly. It's also about the pace of speaking, right? The rhythm and speed.
Exactly. The teacher observes common student mistakes during speaking practice. Then, texts like the airport dialogue are created. They provide opportunities to use the target language in realistic scenarios.
So you practice the tricky parts and improve class by class. Speaking is the ultimate goal, real communication.
Now let's review the cast, the students themselves, Mario, Douglas, and Tiago.
Based on these notes, the exercises, the reading, the practice, we can see their journey, each one learning, each one making progress.
Yes, individual development is key, but also their progress as a group. They practice together, learn from each other.
And the notes specifically mention their advancement, moving from A2 toward B1 on the CEFRL scale. That's significant.
It shows they're building competence across all skills, reading, writing, listening, and crucially, speaking. They're mastering this level and getting ready for the next act. Real growth.
Okay, like any good review, let's mention the sources, the bibliographic references.
The notes list 2 items.
First, a book link, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. Interesting choice. And second, the specific Academia BSB grammar unit. Unit 53 advices should.
These show there's a structure, a methodology behind the classes at Academia BSB. It's not random.
And doing your homework, which might involve these resources, is a really important part of that method. It reinforces the learning.
Which leads to a reminder.
Yes. Don't forget, you have homework to do before the next class. Keep practicing. Keep engaging with English.
Now, a quick look ahead, the preview for the next episode, the UP Pemming Linguistic Scope.
Next up is Scene 5, Business Proposal. Ooh, sounds serious.
It features Tiago, the consultant, and Mario. They'll be discussing investment in Mario's bakery and ownership.
The notes hint Tiago might offer to invest, but wants a big chunk, like 45%. And Mario wants sole ownership. Conflict.
It promises to be a challenging conversation, using language for negotiation, discussing finances, expressing strong positions. Great practice for more complex, real-world English.
Which leads us perfectly to our cliffhanger question.
Will Mario compromise his dream of sole ownership to save his bakery? Or can he find another way forward?
Tune in next time. As we wrap up this deep dive, thinking about all these details, the idioms, the vocabulary, the pronunciation, the conversations, it reminds us of something bigger.
Learning a language isn't just about memorizing words and rules. It's fundamentally about connection.
Exactly. It's about understanding how people share ideas, offer help, express feelings. It's about bridging gaps, understanding different perspectives, different ways of thinking.
It involves the subtleties, tone of voice, cultural context, unspoken meanings, using language to build relationships, navigate the world.
It's really all about communication, isn't it?
Which brings us to the heart of what we do at Academia BSB.
It is not only about the language, it is all about communication.
Thank you for joining our deep dive tonight.
We'll catch you next time for another analysis.